This is going to be an educational video on processing a deer. We're going to be using the Gutless Method. There are many variations of this, but this is how I will be doing it.
Looks a lot different without his fur coat on. I'm not going to mount this deer, so I cut the head off. And there he is, laying over there. I'm thinking about having a European mount done on him. That would look nice. As you can see, the deer has not been gutted yet, but basically I started right there.
Whatever you do right here, don't cut that tendon. That's what's holding it.
Cut around both legs first, slit it through the middle. Next, peel the hide all the way down. I get it about right there. I stop. I go down to the front legs, cut around the front legs, slit both front legs right up the middle to the palate on both sides. That way when I get down to the front shoulders, as I peel the hide all the way around, I go around the deer, peeling the hide all the way around. I know you're getting dizzy, but I get all the way down. I can peel it right off the front shoulders, right straight over, cut the neck and head off. If I'm going to mount the deer, I can still cut the neck off down there, and the hide's just stretched over the antlers, and I simply cut the neck off. I don't waste any neck meat that way, and the hide's still in good shape. You just want to cape the hide off. Next, I'll cut the front shoulders off. Go ahead and get them, throw them in the ice chest. I'm going to cut the back straps out, holding my knife blade close to the bone all the way down. You want to make sure you don't stick your knife point through the ribs and punch the guts from the inside, then it'll stink. So when you're doing this, you got to watch out to not punch a hole in the guts at all. That's what he looks like with no front shoulder. One side to the other. And there's the front shoulder. Real nice and clean, no hair on it. There are both front shoulders, real nice, clean. Rinse them off, throw them in the ice chest. Ready for the back straps. There's a layer of fat on the back right there. What I like to do is I make a slit all the way down the spine, and then I fillet that fat back, and now I'm exposing that tenderloin right there. I'm just going to simply fillet it right out of there. That's what it looks like after you get the back straps out. Stay right along the edge of the backbone right there, and then stay right along the ribs right there. Make sure your knife follows the ribs, and that's what you got. You have back straps all the way down to about right there, and the rest of all that's neck meat. All that's good meat. One big old long strip. And there they are. Both back straps and the neck meat. Nice clean job. Not a lot of meat left on the ribs or the backbone. Take your time. Do it right. When you start this part right here, you want to start right in the inside of the hindquarters until you get to the tenderloins, the inside loins right there. You'll be able to see the inside loins. Come on around, cut the other side till you get in there. Make sure you don't punch a hole in the back side of that paunch while you're doing it. Stay right along the edge of the loins, cut out real close, pull the large intestines through, cut it, just leave it up in there in the cavity. We'll get it later. Cut right all the way down to the rib cage on both sides, and just let the paunch and the intestines and everything lay forward out of your way. Unless you want the ribs. If you want the ribs, which there's not a lot of meat on this deer on the rib cage, and I usually don't fool with it unless it's a real big deer, you can cut with your knife. You can actually gut the deer now, dumping it everything into the barrel by cutting the outside around of the ribs cage, and that way you don't get gut and everything all over your meat. You know, you just cut around the outside of the rib cage and then just bring everything forward and let it drop in the bucket. You can actually gut the deer right here if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm fixing to cut the backbone right here in half. I'm fixing to let the ribs and everything drop in there. There's no more meat on this part of the deer that I want to fool with. And there it is. Cut the inside loins out first. That's my next step, which are really easy to get to now. And then I'll cut the pea bladder and everything out. If I want that urine, I can now take a syringe and extract it out of the bladder and stick it in a baby food jar and save it for later. And there's the two inside tenderloins. Okay, next I'll make a slit down the center. I'll come around the outside of the bone right there. I'll fillet it out. I'm going to start down here at the bottom, coming inside the ribs, fillet it straight into the bone. I'm absolutely going to fillet it all the way around. When I get to the back half right here, I'm going to slit it down the middle, and there's a tailbone right here. You're going to have to come up, around, out, around, follow that tailbone with your knife blade, come in, and then right down the backbone, and then literally fillet it right off the pelvic bone. The only thing that's going to be left in there is the pelvic bone. Actually, that pea bladder and stuff can stay right where it's at. It's not bothering a thing as far as I'm concerned. As long as I don't poke it with my knife and make a mess, I'm good. When I get into the ball joints, I'm going to simply cut around the ball joints and let both sides hang free. Okay, literally the only thing right now holding that side on, I filleted all the way around on this side. The ball joint up inside there is literally the only thing holding that ham on. It's been filleted all the way around. There's no meat left on that pelvic bone anywhere at all. I'm fixing to fillet the other side. You don't want to cut that ball joint until you get the other side filleted. That's the last thing you want to do is cut the ball joint, because it helps hold it there so you can fillet it easier. Both sides is filleted all the way off. I don't know if you can actually, I can pull that up there or not, see the ball joint, but the ball joint's right in there. I'm simply going to just cut right around that ball joint with the tip of my knife, and this side here is just going to fall to one side, and I'm going to hold the midsection and then cut it around the other side, and then all I got left is two hams hanging on the rope. Then I'll lay them over an ice chest, saw the legs off, I'm finished. This is a 20-minute, 30-minute job tops. One last shot of them pulled apart. Pelvic and backbone still attached to that one side. And there's the ball joint that I cut around with the tip of my knife, and it simply just falls apart. You can see how hard it would be to fillet that one side there. Now, if you went ahead and did the ball joint, cut them apart, it's best to go ahead and fillet all the way down to the ball joints. Now you can just pop each ball joint loose. And there it is. Pelvic area and the backbone. Pea bladder is still completely intact, full of urine, haven't spilled a drop. That's the best way to do it. Now I just simply unhook it from my gambrel, carry it over to my ice chest, saw the legs off right there with the hacksaw into the ice chest, and I'm done. I'm ready to go upstairs and start processing the rest of it. And there you have it, a processed deer ready to be cut up and put in the freezer.